She has written 18 novels, and a few of them have landed her on best-selling lists in the United States. My guest now is American author Tamika Jamison. She joins us via Zoom. Hi, Tamika. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am very well. How are you?
I am glowing and flowing. It's early in the morning, and I'm not an early bird, but I'm hanging on in there.
I am blown and flown. I am borrowing that, Tamika, with your permission. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. We'll see Newhouse on a lot of your books, but you've been doing this for a good while. From teen mom, I'm reading, to CEO by the age of 20, Tamika, which is a feat in itself. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wanted to put out a book. I had an idea of that. I actually wanted to just make my own dreams come true. It had always been a dream of mine to be a published writer. And when I discovered the art of self-publishing when I was 20 years old, I said, well, wait, I'm going to figure out the steps and I'm going to do it myself. And that's what I did. I literally had my 9-month-old son sitting in my lap when I started my first business. I created a MySpace page.
MySpace, to talk about, wow.
Yes, taking it back to this is like 15, 16 years ago. Yeah. So, and from there, I began to network virtually with other writers, discovering how they did it. And I went and did it myself and eventually launched a whole independent publishing company.
Fantastic. You've published over 300 books, helping other authors, books. Over 300, helping other authors to birth theirs. Tell me what that journey has been like for you, because to be able to self-publish, to be able to land a publishing contract without an agent and going on to build this amazing company as a Black woman in the United States. Wow. Have you captured that story in anything that you've published in any of your 18 novels?
Well, actually, I talked about it on my memoir podcast, which is called Traces of Mika. And I wanted to talk about my experiences with motherhood, with discovering who I was, because I lost my mother at a very young age. I never had an active father. And then I ended up becoming a single mother. So I was juggling a lot of things on my own while trying to pursue my dreams. And I was, very giving, very open. And so when I started my independent publishing house, I took a lot of writers under my wing, mentoring them, taking them on the road with me, creating their marketing material, just teaching them the ropes and everything they need to know about publishing. And it had its benefits. But when you begin to overgive sometimes to people, they have these high expectations. I really felt I love with publishing because it almost came to the point where people and some of my former artists kind of expected me to do certain things and they wouldn't. And publishing is a partnership. It's a partnership between the publisher and the author. And I kind of fell out of love with that process. And so now I publish nonfiction content and I just focus on the self-love aspect of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your latest work? So we know you have 18 novels under your belt.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about those? What do you typically write about? What's your
So my characters are always trying to redeem themselves and conquer love. I'm always exploring different relationships around love. And so my latest book was called Sugar Hill. And I call it a Love Jones kind of tale. And essentially it is where a woman meets this strange person on a flight to a film festival. Her dreams are about to skyrocket and suddenly she's thrown into this romance with this perfect stranger. And he also fell for her because she seemed to not be so easy to conquer. She was like this challenge. And they get entangled in each other and lost in each other's existence. And they really kind of had their second chance at love, but it took them being vulnerable for them to be able to get this love. And so I love exploring relationships around love, even if it's a friendship, and because those are also romances as well. Just showing the human side of us and how we can redeem ourselves and love again. So Sugar Hill is one of my favorite love stories, as well as my book, The Words I Didn't Say. That is my all-time favorite romance I've ever written.
Okay, note to self, I'm going to order those on Amazon today so I can get them. And I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them and read them, Tamika. So we have just about a minute left. In this era, and age when so many people are now publishing. The internet has made a huge difference, and a lot of people are writing and putting up their work. What is the advice you'd give to anyone writing or looking to break into the industry in a meaningful way like you were able to?
And I like that you said a meaningful way, because it is easy. This is the era of independence. Artists of all sorts can put out their content and profit from it. But always remember why. And then remember who you are, because writing is an art form. We are artists too as writers. And so when you're putting out your content, what type of stories are you telling, and how do you want people to connect with you? And then remember your why. Why are you doing this? And this, I sometimes will separate those that are just wanting to put out a book because they just say, oh, I got a book out. And for those that really, really want to tell stories and amplify our experiences. And that's essentially what I do with my stories, and also with my work, with my festivals, with my bookstores that I have out. And just all the conversations that I give out. I try to encourage writers to understand why you're doing this and always stay focused on that, because this is not an easy industry. It's just like the film industry. It's just like the music industry. There are politics and ways to go about being successful in this space. And so you really have to approach this as a business and understand that you are an artist, but everything else outside of writing the book, it's business. So always remember the why and why you're doing this.
Yeah, that's great advice. Because on the days when you want to quit, you need to remember why you're going through all of it. And I know
I announce I'm quitting often, but I never do, y'all. I ain't going up there.
Because you remember your why. Tamika, thank you so much for sharing. TamikaNewhouse.com. You can find her writings there. So go check it out. And her podcast is Traces of MIKA, Society and Culture Podcast. Featuring unscripted conversations with Tamika. Thanks a lot, Tamika. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me on here. Y'all be blessed and have a beautiful morning.
Same to you. Flown and blown we are, lady. Flown and blown. Author Tamika Jamison with us this morning. So much more fun to come on Smile Jamaica. First, let's catch up with the news. News in 5. Second edition is next.